Hi, JD here with a good pal of mine, Danny McMaster. Danny, how are you?
JD, good to see you again.
This is a marketing lesson that you are going to want to stick around for, so stick with me because this is a marketing lesson on go big or go home. In other words, have a big idea when it comes to marketing your products or services or just forget about it. And because Danny is one of the world's leading impersonators, I'm going to get him to tell us what Donald Trump would think about going big or going home.
I wanted to say to you, everything, watch the fingers, I want to say that everything's what JD is about to tell you here is true. I've lived it. I actually created it. He copied it. It doesn't matter. He can have some of it. I don't care. It's big. It's bigger. It's bright. It's wide. It's everything that it's the best you've ever heard because I invented. He's taken it, and that's all there is to it. Big, go home, and don't take no for an answer.
Okay, so good lead in for me, by the way. What I'm talking about is if you're thinking of promotions or marketing for your product or service, think like this. Let me give you an example, okay? We have a client who happens to be in the car mechanics business and they are servicing European cars normally, which is Mercedes and BMWs and so forth, Volkswagens. And they said to us, look, we need a promotion to drive more traffic into filling our 8 bays. They have 8 car mechanic bays. And I said, okay, right, I'll leave it with me. Now, what happened is that they had a couple of suggestions from other people. One was, look, if you get your car serviced through them, by the way, Danny, if you do get your car serviced through them, it's normally a $400 or $500 car service.
Wow.
Well, it's because they are prestige cars and so they do the whole bells and whistles. And I said, okay, they happen to be in the rich area of Sydney. So we're talking about people who've got $1. And the suggestion that they'd been given by 1 or 2 other people were, look, why don't you use the 7-Eleven store next door to you, because they do. They've got a car mechanics operation, they've got a 7-Eleven in the one property. And why don't you give every person who gets service a $50 7-Eleven fuel gift card. And my reaction to that was something like this. So we're saying to someone, look, spend $450 or $500 and we'll give you a $50 fuel card. It's okay, but just okay. And the other suggestion was, well, okay, well, why don't you give them some of those little air fresheners that you can put in your car and maybe a first aid kit that they can put in their boot. Again, you don't give anyone something that they hope they'll never use, like a first aid kit. I'll never forget years ago, I was sitting in a brainstorming meeting. I was providing the brain, the other people were providing the storm. And it was QBE Insurance, one of the big insurance companies anyway. And they said, oh, JD, we're thinking like you. And I went, oh, look, thank God, at least there is maybe going to be more people who think like me and be very humble like I am. And they said, you know, take out a home and contents insurance policy and we'll give you a fire extinguisher. I said, are you smoking marijuana? What? So you're saying to someone, take out a home insurance policy with your insurance company versus someone else, and we'll give you a fire extinguisher that you as a person would hope you'd never have to use. Nobody wants something they hope they'll never use. So anyway, as it's turned out, the go big or go home philosophy.
My fire insurance policy caught fire, so I put it out.
Yes, exactly. So you know what I did? I've just done a deal with a holiday company where we can actually get 7 nights accommodation in Bali or Phuket for $99, okay? It's a long story, I won't bore you with it right now, but essentially these beautiful resorts in Bali have got empty rooms each night. There's nothing more perishable than a hotel room. You can't sell tonight's room. So this particular company gets the hotel rooms, they provide them to marketers like me for $99 for 7 nights, and the hotel fills otherwise empty rooms, and they make money out of the cafes and the restaurants and the spas and everything else that goes with it. So the new deal is, with this particular car mechanic, wait for it, go big or go home, if you get 2 of your motor cars serviced within a period of time, it might be within a month, then you will get a free holiday for 7 nights to Bali or Phuket. Do you think that beats the $50 gift voucher?
I think I'd be going to that place to getting my car serviced.
You know, we just did a straw poll. I was there talking to the owners of this place, and as it turned out, they've got a couple of people picking up their Volkswagen or their BMW. I said, can I just ask you, would you be interested in bringing your wife's car back? In other words, getting 2 cars done, which means they get 2 times $400 or $500. So they're going to get $900 or $1,000, and the holiday's going to cost them $99. So guess what? It's equivalent to a 10% discount. Okay, $99 to be able to give someone a week in Bali, or against a $1,000 expenditure, or 10% off. Which one do you think is going to work? Not 10% off. Yeah, so look, I guess the essence of what I'm saying, Danny, to anyone who's owning a business and looking for a value add, try and make it big. Try and make it wow factor. And I've got some history with the free holiday thing because together with Jerry Seinfeld, I was able to increase a particular building society's home loan portfolio. We're talking fourfold, because what we did is we took away the 1% honeymoon rate, which they used to give out for people in the first year of the home loan, and we turned that into a Happy Meal toy. We just turned that into a free holiday, and again, courtesy of Seinfeld. Do you do Seinfeld, by the way?
I was going to do Trump, Tim there. I suppose you can do, yes, you can do him. If you keep your voice up here loud enough, long enough, you talk about different things. That's how you do it. Leave it up there. Must have something to say. I have nothing to say.
Well, the thing is that...
read out my bank balance.
Yeah. I saw somewhere recently where he's worth $800 and something million. Because people used to ask me, well, they still do, how did you get him across the line? I said, well, it wasn't the money. I mean, he didn't need the money because he's got more money than God. But I think how we convinced him to do the advertising for the Greater Building Society was that it was the creativity. We said, look, we're going to have a lot of fun with this. We're going to bag out the big banks, and you've got creative control. The moment you make it sound like fun, and he had control, then he put his hand up and said yes. It certainly wasn't for the money, that's for sure.
I always wanted to come to Australia. But I can still do Trump. I always wanted to come to Australia. No, that's no one. It's no one. It's no one. It's not even Seinfeld.
Bugs
not
Bunny
even Trump.
wants to come.
What's up?
He wants to come to Australia.
I want to come to Australia.
Dad blamed the river. I'm gonna blast you.
The one I love is Foghorn Leghorn.
Boy, I said, son, I said, boy. That boy's, I like to speak slower because that boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball.
You're despicable.
I don't know how I'm going to get back to think big or go home, but yeah, look, you've got to think big. I mean, yes, the Seinfeld thing with the Greater Building Society was thinking big multiplied by 10, but we pulled it off. But in terms of your value adds, if you love this direct response stuff whereby you actually value add instead of price discounting because it makes so much more sense, then yeah, think big. Danny, ask me, what do I think about a hardware store taking on Bunnings? Can you ask me that question?
What do you think about a hardware store taking on Bunnings?
I'm glad you asked that question, Danny. Completely impromptu, but if they were to drop their pants for a wheelbarrow, then do you think Bunnings would drop their prices quicker? They would, wouldn't they?
I certainly would.
And there's no way in the world that the little hardware store could beat Bunnings on price, because Bunnings say that, they're going to beat price every time anyway by 10%, whatever their little catchline is. But if that hardware store said, look, if you buy a wheelbarrow off me, we'll give you a free pitchfork and a free shovel that goes with it, something that was going like peaches and cream in tandem, Bunnings would have to have 64 committee meetings over the next year to be able to come out with a promotion like that. And that's my point. The little guy can win because you can be nimble. The big guy would have 100, committee meetings before they even thought about giving away a free shovel. So if you actually value add rather than price discount, the big boys, your big 40-ton gorilla competitors, won't even be able to match you because they can't move that fast. Can I just ask before we go, Mr. President, about the, go big or go home. I've heard, this is just a rumour, but you're setting up a business for retainer walls. Is that right? You're setting up, is it pill fencing or is it retainer walls? But they're going to be big.
It's a wall.
It's a wall.
It's just a wall. You look at the Great Wall of China. It worked. There's no Mexicans in China. It worked. Got to build a wall, and they got to pay for it.
Who's they? By the way, who's they? The customer.
It's value adding on the wall. If you're gonna sell a wall, make sure it's worth buying. Look, Mexican free.
I don't know whether we'll be able to put this to LinkedIn. I'm not sure whether this is one. I don't think this one's going to get up. There was that much of that, yeah. No. If you want more of this nonsense in terms of wow factor marketing and having a lot of fun with one of the world's best entertainers, then there's a link above or below me where you can watch more of these sorts of things. So therefore, thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Go big or go home.
That's good.